Inside, there's this phenomenon of a blaze of fire, a sea of fire. We need to believe this. The Buddhist scriptures say that hell is this kind of state. Other religions say the same thing. You see, Christianity, even though it doesn't talk about the 6 realms, at least it mentions 3 realms. It talks about the human realm, and it also mentions hell. In that realm, it's also a blaze of fire. So from this, we can understand the phenomena of the realms. If there are those with profound meditation, we see the Brahmin woman in front of us. He recites the Buddha's name until his mind is completely focused. When your determination is unwavering, you have this ability, visiting hell. He has this ability. To personally experience this state. So we shouldn't doubt what the Buddha has spoken. Next, the remaining journey of around 18,000 miles. To climb, Zishi gets on and off the train. Iron snakes stick to dogs. Tigers slaughtered, pigs eaten. You encounter things on the wallpaper. Keep moving. Iron snakes stick to dogs. Tigers slaughtered, pigs eaten. You encounter themes on the wallpaper and just keep moving. So this is the phenomenon of the snake. In the 5 realms of hell, gradually it's getting there. It's the most painful in the great hell in a certain range. Referred to as Wujing, and we'll get more explanation on that later. The suffering in hell is continuous. In other realms there are moments of pause, but not here. Though there's suffering, pauses exist. Catch your breath. In other words, there's no chance for you to catch your breath, like when you're dancing with a sword. During the day, there's a bed that stretches for miles. A man was suffering from punishment and saw himself lying all over the bed. Millions are suffering. A nation sees chaos unfolding everywhere. So this bed, yeah, it's the place for the condemned. It's like a platform, isn't it? This platform is just too big, way too big. The person suffering, they feel like their body is just that small. All forms of punishment are experienced at the same time. What are the thousands of torture instruments? It's not like you finish one punishment and then move on to the next with a gap in between. No, in the realm of endless suffering, all forms of torture are experienced at the same time. The mountain of knives and the sword techniques come at you all at once. Not just sequential. It's definitely non-stop. So many people create this sin, and in this process, they feel that their own bodies are just filled with dissatisfaction, overflowing in this hell. This is the embodiment. The Dharma realm shows those suffering feel full. The person suffering and others who are suffering have no barriers. They all feel their bodies becoming full at the same time. Hell. Let's just wrap this up. The results of all actions, yeah, they can lead to such consequences. In the 10-year Sutra, it's about the sins of violence we've been discussing. The sin of no exception is clearly explained by the Buddha in the scriptures. Ah, that's the Avachi, hell. Not going against it is a major act of rebellion. The first one is killing one's parents. Parents owe us gratitude. If you can't see or repay that kindness and end up killing your parents, this is the sin that leads to the Avachi hell. The second one is killing an arhat. An arhat is someone who has attained enlightenment. He lives in this area. Is this area a field of blessings for the people? The people in this area are blessed. Accept his teachings. The arhat is no longer here. Where can we find an arhat now? If we talk about killing a good teacher, killing this good teacher who can guide and educate a whole community is a sin, equivalent to killing an arhat. This belongs to the first point about killing one's parents. These are our parents, and the arhat is the fourth one. All living beings suffer the most from being overly self-indulgent. So all good deeds are nothing compared to filial piety. Honoring your parents and respecting your teachers are the core of good actions. The third one is breaking the living fire. Destruction, the living community, also disrupts the teachings. This place, the crowd that disrupts the teachings, this sin is quite severe. In the end, it's like this. Disgusting. It's like the Buddha's body is empty. Holding on to this hatred in your heart. Or it could be jealousy. The blessings of the Buddha are immense. No one can kill the Buddha. So I have a lot of protective deities looking after me. There's no way to reach enlightenment, like the story of the Buddha's ascension, which is mostly about Devadatta. These 10. The body, most of them want to harm the Buddha. It's like pushing a massive rock in your studies. The life of the Han Buddha. Vajra deity. In the air, intercepting the stone. This stone shattered into pieces. Looking at the Buddha's feet, he got a bit hurt, and there's a saying about the Buddha's body being revealed. See, this is at most about being in the hell of no escape. So to put it another way, disrupting the law and order. To make this society for everyone. The chance has been completely cut off. So this story is endless. To the right, all sinners suffering from countless hardships. Sentence, General Secretary. It's all about the 6 scripts. 1,000 cups of night tea and lying on the tracks. This is inside hell, and it appears. these demons that carry out the punishments are the night prowler lying on the tracks. In scriptures about hell, they are called evil beasts. These ox-headed and horse-faced ones. It doesn't have a human shape. The shape of the evil beasts. It's really terrifying, absolutely horrifying. Detain like a warning, like a flash of lightning. Hand axe, copper claws. Fellow sinners are the damned. When you see the image of hell, you always want to escape. Where can you hide with just one arm? Fire is everywhere. Above and below, it's all fire. So these demons, you want to avoid them, but they'll just grab you. Don't send me to the fiery pit. The belly has a night prowler, the great iron machine. A life of serious crimes or a heavy mouth and nose or a heavy belly drinking until you're flat out on the bed. These demons, are they still toying with these suffering souls? Ancient time. These weapons are just these things. So we can imagine, now, if you were in hell, there'd definitely be toxic gas. There'd be gas, machine guns, all those sorts of things, and cannonballs, even nuclear bombs going off. All the pain is there. Past fear from confusion, now frightening. 2020 feels like hell. Indeed, change all the torture instruments he knows in his heart. Nell, people are very scary. It's quite pitiful. Why do they watch horror? 2020 is packed with horrors. It's all packed into this year, 2020, where everything from hell has come out. Better to watch less of these sci-fi horrors. So it's best to watch fewer of these sci-fi horrors films. Even though there are fewer types of torture in hell now. What I'm saying is true. Hey, if you like watching these things, then you're also planting those seeds in yourselves, and in the future you'll end up in hell with a lot more types of punishment than usual. There's some truth to that, right? True. Those who understand how to cultivate themselves don't get caught up in material things, and not to be caught up in cultural relics. We shouldn't touch or get involved with all these evil realms. It's best to stay clear of them, all right? It's really beneficial to make decisions for yourself. So this is Ghost of Night tea mist from the tree. Apart from this is what's talked about in sci-fi novels. Parents take the blame, but the sinner is blind. Sitting on iron and stone, drunk in the human world. Not knowing the boundaries, the Western Shia will long be settled. 80. Roots pulled out, intestines cut, and 5. Mouths pierced, hot, tears flowing. 1,000 deaths, 1,000 lives ye feel this way. Throughout history, every form of punishment has been associated with a level of suffering that is beyond measure. This concept is deeply rooted in various religious and philosophical texts, where it is often emphasized that the consequences of punitive actions extend far beyond the immediate physical or emotional pain inflicted. These scriptures suggest that the true impact of punishment is profound, affecting not only the individual who is punished. It explains that it never strays from discussing the three fundamental afflictions: greed, hatred, and ignorance. Ignorance causes the most harm. Relying on wrong knowledge can slander morality. The Buddha advises against dwelling on the true nature of things. False thoughts and teachings are numerous. This is a clear understanding of the Four Noble Truths. Relying on one's own wrong knowledge and views can slander morality, and if one's mindset isn't right, it can also lead others to adopt these wrong views and create negative karma. The Buddha advises us not to dwell on the true nature of things or the essence of the Dharma, as it can lead to negative impressions. It's not to say that there aren't people who deceive others, especially in this degenerate age, where false thoughts and teachings are as numerous as the grains of sand in the Ganges. Where do these corrupt teachers come from? They are the descendants of the Demon King. When the Buddha was alive, the Demon King sought to undermine the Dharma, but my wisdom, morality, and spiritual power were too great for him to overcome. Negative impressions exist. Some pretend to be monks but deceive others. Corrupt teachers are descendants of the Demon King. The Demon King said, "When your teachings decline, my descendants will become monks to undermine your Dharma." The Demon King wanted to destroy the Dharma but failed. His corrupt intent remained. He vowed to destroy the Dharma one day. True Dharma is indestructible. He said, "When teachings decline, my descendants will become monks to undermine it." Shakyamuni Buddha was concerned about their infiltration and harm. At that time, he didn't indeed interfere with the sacred teachings, and even came to listen to the Dharma and wisdom. However, the persistent intention to weaken and undermine Buddhism never disappeared. He reported to the Buddha, saying that one day he would eventually destroy the Dharma. The Buddha replied that my teachings are the true Dharma and cannot be destroyed. The Demon King then said, "When your teachings gradually decline in the degenerate age, I will have my sons and grandsons all become monks and wear your robes to undermine your Dharma." Upon hearing this, Shakyamuni Buddha didn't shed tears, but instead expressed his deep concern and worry, indicating that they would infiltrate and cause harm. So these monks don't want Buddhist disciples, those who are close to them, to specifically undermine the teachings of Buddhism. So sentient beings see these people. They are unwilling to give, but look, they are enjoying their blessings. We are being deceived by them. Destruction brings loss. They say giving lacks a national way. The giving they do brings them bad results. Only when there are not enough people can you enjoy it. Buddhism warns against misleading views and actions. Goodness doesn't guarantee results, and creators avoid consequences. Wrong views confuse beings, causing karma. using these wrong views and knowledge to confuse sentient beings. Sentient beings create countless and boundless negative karma. So these people have the support of the demon behind them. Poisonous demons and monsters wreak havoc. Some groups have a lot of power. Along the way, there are many. His followers are talented and wealthy. Those who practice the right teachings are quite pitiful. There are a lot of them. On the way, he has wealth only because he has talented people under him. Practicing right teachings, they are pitiful. At A. In this world, they find themselves at a dead end, with no one around. A right path. Don't they also want to uphold right teachings, but they just don't recognize them? They take the wrong for the right, and the right for the wrong. Please promote the right teachings, but no one pays any attention. But we know very well that no one pays any attention. Good karma. Add on to that, this is definitely a principle. We definitely can't let ourselves be confused just because everyone around us is lost in the situation. If we get caught up in that confusion, then we're making a huge mistake. Right. Confused, not me. He. He creates negative karma, but I don't create. So the Buddha really set the best example for us when he was in the world. Today we're talking about suffering. We should compare ourselves to Shakyamuni Buddha. Your lives are so much better than his. People sit under the big tree at night to have a rest. When we go out to eat, we don't even need to beg for alms. We've at least got a roof over our heads. We've got way more clothes than Shakyamuni Buddha. When we go traveling, we've even got luggage. Right. In the time of Shakyamuni Buddha, when he went traveling, he didn't have any worries. All 3 doctors were covered in cloth, but Bora had nothing on her. If we can't do it seriously, how can we be worthy of the Buddha? When Buddha lived, despite support from many, he didn't accept any of it. Build me a temple was never his request. He didn't accept their offers, like, you build me a grand temple, or monastery. All these places of worship are borrowed. Books discuss loneliness and property rights. It's about the attempt of Prince Christ, Zhongda. Accepting their offerings. We often say, the Buddha only has the right to use, not ownership. The ownership belongs to them. It's just a temporary borrowing. It's all given to us. We're declining. Connecting with Buddha's monastic community brings peace. We're going to face a lot of suffering. When we connect with the Buddha's monastic community from back in the day, our hearts will find peace. Let's have a look at the entrance down below. Movement, stillness join. Seeking is not enough. Those who create hellish karma fall into hell, especially the Avicii hell. The length of time is calculated in levels. escaping the endless. Then we understood what the Buddha spoke about this world. Exist, decay, empty. Life, cycle. Each level is a key level. Every realm in a major realm cycles through formation, decay. So, this world has been destroyed. Where do these people who fall into hell go to suffer? When the world is destroyed, then the first one is also destroyed. Can't it come out? The Bodhisattva of Gold Mountain speaks here. The 10 realms are destroyed, but they still rely on others now. Because the world is gone. World's not destroyed. He then moved on to other worlds and ended up in hell. Checking effects. He uses this destruction to turn things around elsewhere. In other realms, destruction happens one after another. After this calamity, it will return again. This issue become a hassle. So, it's really a never-ending struggle to seek liberation from this calamity. We're doing this. Creating karma is easy, sins accumulate. Without even realizing it, we end up creating the karma that leads to hell. Who would have thought that the suffering we face in the future would be so tragic? Such a long time. Who knows? When reading this scripture, you mustn't misunderstand it. This is the Buddha trying to scare us. It's not the truth. It's to encourage us not to do bad things. If we think like that, then we're really making a big mistake. When the consequences of your actions come to light, it's too late to regret. How could the Buddha ever lie? Buddhism changes. There are too many methods. Don't use deceptive methods on others. To be honest, not a single upright person in this world would stoop to deceiving others. Buddha, observe the Buddha and Bodhisattvas. Because the energy moves through the body. Everyone needs to understand that. Once you lose trust, people will never believe you again. So, an upright person wouldn't use such means. Keep your own asterisk. This is important, mate. If people in the world are like this, then what about the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas? They possess complete wisdom. How could the skillful means of language be used in such a clumsy way? If we understand this principle, then we can trust what the Buddha says in the scriptures. Every word and sentence is true. There's absolutely no basis for that. It's a lie. We can accept, we can believe, and we can practice. You've got your own blessings, mate. People with blessing. Only with the right skills can you fix things. Without the Buddha, those seeking blessings won't achieve it. This is often a reminder for us in terms of our finances. Cultivating blessings is all about having wisdom and virtue. The retribution for the unrelenting sins is like this. This is just a simple report to Lady Maya, an overview of the Avicii hell. It also overlooks the night feeling, hence it's called the realm of no boundaries. It will lead to slaughter, very compassionate.